Neera Tanden. I know you hate hearing about her, but I'm going to do something different today. I'm going to make the case for Neera Tanden. Yes, you heard that correctly. I'm actually going to make the case for Neera. You know why? Because I think that we've been perhaps a bit too rash in our judgment. We've been too quick to condemn Neera for her past behavior. I want to plead my case to you, okay, and advocate on her behalf for her nomination to head the Office of Management and Budget. So let me pull up my thesis for you. So I think personally that Neera Tanden, okay, yes, Neera punched her coworker. Yes, Neera outed a sexual assault victim. Yes, Neera wanted to invade Arabs and steal their oil. Yes, Neera took millions from corporations. Yes, Neera supports apartheid Israel. Yes, Neera is a crooked swamp creature and the perfect choice to head the OMB. You see? I think that's a solid case, man. I mean, given how corrupt Joe Biden's administration already is, given that all of his picks have already succeeded, I mean, we don't want to ruin his hot streak, right? You can't have Joe Biden in the White House and not have a swamp creature like Neera Tanden as the head of the OMB. I mean, they go like a hand in glove, right? They both want to cut Social Security. They both love wars. They both want to crap all over the global south. You know, one and the same, man. They love private corporations. Yeah, they're one and the same. Let's not ruin the swamp creatures, man. Come on, let them have their party. I think she'd be a great addition. So look, her vote was supposed to take place today. Okay, it was postponed. Okay, so let's read a bit from this very quickly, because the last couple of days, her nomination has been imperiled by the fact that Joe Manchin is saying that, he's potentially not going to vote for her. And given how tight given that the Democrats, they hold 50 seats in the Senate and Kamala Harris being the tiebreaker vote, given how tight their margin is in the Senate, just one Democrat refusing to vote for her can put her whole nomination in grave danger, right? So over here is from CNN. It says, key committee votes postponed and troubling sign for Tanden nomination, right? So just to remind you have committee votes first, right? So 2 hearings that were scheduled to vote on Neera Tanden's nomination to be the director of the OMB were unexpectedly postponed Wednesday, a possible indication that her imperiled nomination may be being pulled. Senators want more time to consider the nomination. An official on the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee who is familiar with the matters tells CNN. A senior aide on the other panel, the Senate Budget Committee, told CNN its hearing also was postponed, and the chairman, Bernie Sanders, an independent who caucuses with Democrats, he's a Democrat basically, and who has clashed with Tanden in the past, personally informed Tanden on the phone Tuesday night about the committee's plans to postpone the markup. And by the way, I'm pretty sure it's in the same article, but if we scroll down over here, you can see that Bernie Sanders found out that Neera Tanden was Biden's pick to head the OMB through the media. I mean, that just shows you how little they respect him, honestly. Remember, he's the goddamn chair on the Senate Budget Committee. You would think that given the fact he was running, he was one of the front runners in the race, and he got behind and supported Joe Biden. He rolled over another time for the DNC. No, they're going to crap all over him. So that's how he found out, which shows how much they respect him. And Tanden faces resistance from Democratic Senator Joe Manchin, a centrist from West Virginia, and a wide array of Republicans who have said they will not back her because of her past partisan criticisms aimed at lawmakers and sharp attacks at odds with Biden's pledge of civility and unity. Unity! I need to get my Dave Chappelle ring out, my Rick James ring. Yeah, look, man, Uncle Joe's Rainbow Coalition death cult. We need to have unity, right? Of course, Joe Biden is not interested in uniting with progressives or uniting with, more humanitarian policies and uniting with the American people. No, we have unity with the Republicans, right? The two wings of the same party must unite. not the government with its people. No. You can go and screw yourself. We have to have unity with Republicans, right? Because Republicans are crazy about progressive policies, right? It's you control the White House, the House, the Senate. Yeah, let's have unity. Oh. You know what's astonishing here? They're more concerned about her mean tweets, and no one is bringing up the email. Again, I mistakenly on Twitter, I said this was an internal DNC email. It was actually an email from CAP. CAP is Center for American Progress. If you recall, Neera Tanden, she was the president of this liberal think tank, this pro-Clinton think tank, which took millions from Silicon Valley, from the Arab kingdoms in the Persian Gulf, et cetera, et cetera. It's a slush fund for a corruption slush fund. And she basically sent an email, which I've shown to you before, where she says that Arab countries should pay the United States with their oil for the luxury of being invaded. And I mistakenly said it was a DNC email, but I think, in my defense, I think that speaks to how assimilated they've become, right? That you can't tell the difference anymore because the DNC is basically an extension of the Clinton camp, of CAP, etc. So, I'll say that. But nonetheless, no one is bringing that up. Neera Tanden wants to become the head of the Office of Management and Budget, right? So she will make recommendations. She will be in charge of formulating the budget that will be put forward to Congress. And this woman was saying that Arab countries, particularly Libya, so this is back in 2011, should pay the United States with their oil as a thank you, basically, for being invaded. Why? To fix the deficit. And she says in the email, right? I'll pull it up for you just to jog your memory. She says in the email, because it's to fix the deficit. She says, we don't want to cut things like Medicaid. You don't want to cut social welfare programs. Here we go. This is the email, right? So I've read it to you a million times and read it again. We have a giant deficit. They have a lot of oil. Most Americans would choose not to engage in the world because of that deficit. If we want to continue to engage in the world, gestures like having oil-rich countries partially pay us back doesn't seem crazy to me. Do we prefer cuts to Head Start or WIC or Medicaid? Because we live in deficit politics and that's what is happening and will be happening even more. So this woman, this swamp creature named Neera Tanden, who is saying should Libya pay us back for invading them, wants to head the OMB. And this is how she rationalizes budgetary decisions. This is her thought process. This is the real Neera Tanden, right? Because this email was leaked. So this is how she thinks in private. This is what she suggests. Is this what you want being whispered into Joe Biden's ear? Is this kind of stuff? I mean, not that Joe Biden needs anyone to convince him, right? That other countries should be invaded. He's pretty good at that himself. But is this really what you want? Is this the kind of person you want making budgetary decisions who thinks that you can fix the deficit by invading fucking countries and stealing their oil? Jesus Christ, woman. I mean, it's like she's not even trying to be a neocon. Neocons will tell you, neoconservatives like George Bush or Dick Cheney, they'll say, look, man, America is a force for good in the world. We are the good guys. Everyone else, they're the bad guys. We have to intervene because we are a force for good. Neera Tanden's like, no. We just need to engage in the world. And, we need the money from the oil so we don't have cuts back home. It's just straight up imperialism. Like, we want to steal your shit. Give us your shit. And what's funny is that we know that none of that cash is going to Americans. I mean, Joe Biden literally just a few days ago sold off millions worth of barrels of oil, of Iranian oil that was stolen from Iranian ships, right? Just like Trump did, right? So they're not only stealing Syria's oil in the northeast, in Hasakeh and Deir, but they're also stealing, piracy. What is that called when you intercept ships, you board ships in sea and you steal their cargo? That's literal piracy. And then you sell it. Yeah, it's piracy. It's fucking state-sanctioned piracy. Joe Biden is a pirate, just like Donald Trump is a pirate. I mean, that's the literal sense of the term. It's not an exaggeration. And so, do you think you got any of that money from the Iranian oil, the Syrian oil? Have you seen any of that money? You could have a lot of $2,000 checks, right? I mean, Syrian oil alone is producing like $30 million a month, right? That's a quarter of the government revenue in Syria. It used to be. Did you see any of that money? You're never going to see any of that money, okay? So this is just a cover. You're never, it would still be wrong, of course. It would still be wrong. It's still theft, right? But it just speaks to the irony of how Americans and the American population are being shafted. It's like, it's not even like we're going to be imperialists and actually improve our well-being at home and the condition of our population. No. It's just we're going to be imperialists. We're going to send our own population to go fight these wars and die and get, Purple Hearts when they lose their limbs. And then we're going to enrich ourselves. And, we're just a little group of 1/10 of 1%. And it's the same people all over again. I mean, it's unbelievable, right? So going back to my original point, it's incredible that Neera Tanden, her tweets are causing more uproar than her, advocacy for invasion and plundering. So they're saying the White House, which has begun looking at alternative candidates, publicly reiterated its support for Tanden's nomination after the votes were postponed. And officials have expressed hope that if Tanden were to survive the committee votes, it would give them the leverage to convince a small group of senators who had yet to reveal their positions to support her. So just to translate that for you, Jem Psaki, the White House spokeswoman, she came out today and reiterated her support for Neera Tanden. Okay, and she said Neera Tanden is a leading policy expert who brings critical qualifications to the table during this time of unprecedented crisis. She also has important perspective and values, understanding firsthand the powerful difference policy can make in the lives of those going through hard times. She has a broad spectrum of support ranging from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce to labor unions and has a strong record of working with both parties that we expect to grow in President Biden's cabinet as the first South Asian woman to lead OMB. Yeah, I mean, if you call invading Libya for oil important perspective and values, okay, perhaps, right? Perhaps, yeah. Maybe then she's indeed qualified. And again, let's not be mean, right? Let's make the case. She is a swamp creature. She'll fit right in with the swamp creature administration, with Uncle Joe's Rainbow Coalition death cult, right? She'll fit right in. So that's what they meant here when they said the White House publicly reiterated its support for Tanden's nomination. Okay, so Jem Psaki was doing damage control, basically. But the political reality is that the votes to push her through an evenly divided Senate do not appear to exist. Tanden stands a chance if she wins the support of moderate Democratic Senator Sinema of Arizona and Republican Senator Murkowski of Alaska. But it is far from clear that will happen. Now, can I just make one point over here? Again, I'm not making any predictions, but I would not be surprised if her nomination was saved by a Republican. Because at the end of the day, it's one big gang. They're all part of the same gang. These are two wings of the same party, right? I mean, Psaki's telling you herself, right? Look, what did she say here? She has a broad spectrum of support, has a strong record of working with both parties. Yeah, meaning Neera Tanden takes money from everyone because she's a corrupt swamp creature. That's what it means, right? She can reach across both sides of the aisle, much like Joe Biden, right? Unfortunately, perhaps for her, the current people respond. The current makeup of the Senate, maybe they're not too fond of her. But I would not be surprised if maybe a Republican steps in and saves her because Manchin doesn't vote for her. Who knows? I wouldn't be surprised. It's one big gang at the end of the day, right? So yeah, if the nomination stalls out, it would be the first defeat of a high-profile Biden pick subject to Senate approval and would underscore the narrow margin of error Democrats must contend with in a Senate with a 50-50 partisan split. So that's what I explained to you. They just have a tiebreaker vote with Kamala Harris. Now, just to Just to show you here, all of these senators are not saying if they're going to vote for her. Only Manchin has said he's not going to vote for her. Sanders would not say Tuesday if he planned to support Tanden for the position. The Vermont senator was not consulted before Tanden was nominated to lead OMB and heard of her pick through news media reports. That's just, they've cucked you, Bernie. They cucked you so bad. Why do you let them do that to you, man? Like, if not for the movement, if not for progressive values, have some self-respect. God damn it. So yeah, also, looking down here, they're thinking of, you know, a potential alternative, but I mean, they're not saying that right now. So, you know, the White House, they're not willing to pull the plug on Neera Tanden just yet, okay? But if she doesn't get it, they're saying as for replacements, the Hill is strongly pushing Shalonda Young, who last month was nominated as deputy director of OMB. They believe her confirmation is assured, officials say, because of her strong relationships with both parties. And if I recall correctly, Shalonda Young, she would be the first African-American woman to be deputy director of the OMB, right? When asked about the possibility of nominating Shalonda Young, Jen Psaki declined to engage. So you see, that's basically because they don't want, you know, they want to, the White House wants to save face. It's very embarrassing that this is causing more friction than they had hoped. And so, you know, they're not going to abandon Neera Tanden just yet. Who knows, man? Like I said, maybe a Republican saves her or something. Who knows? Who knows? Could you imagine if Bernie Sanders grew a nutsack and didn't vote for her? Could you imagine? Could you imagine if he did that? And of course, another part of the story, you've had people claiming that all of this, everything that's happening right now, the fact that Neera Tanden's confirmation is imperiled, is because of sexism. Yeah. So again, it's not because of anything we just mentioned. No, it's sexism. And as a matter of fact, Rachel Maddow, please don't hate me. I'm going to suffer with you. I'll watch it too. Rachel Maddow did a bit about Manchin saying that he's not going to vote for Neera. Let's take a look.
So, though, waiting to see what will happen to the Neera Tanden nomination to run the Office of Management and Budget. The double standard by which she is being judged by one Democratic senator, by Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia, is something that so far he's mounted no defense to at all, which is getting to be astonishing given the starkness of the double standard that he is applying to her compared to the Trump nominees that he was happy to approve without any reference to all the things he's now saying are a bright line for him with this nominee. But it's interesting. In previous Democratic administrations, we might have seen them caving over issues like this. In this case, they are not. President Biden's White House is standing by Neera Tanden, not withdrawing her nomination, saying that she is their nominee and they intend to see her through. Senator Schumer, the Democratic leader in the Senate, also standing by her in the Senate, saying that she is the nominee and they intend to see her through. It's just Joe Manchin. It's just him. Presumably, hopefully, thinking hard about his own ethical standards and why this particular nominee felt so over the line for him when he's been very happy to vote for multiple Trump guys who were so far over that line, it didn't even register as a line for him at the time. I think that Senator Joe Manchin not only knows his power, but I also think that he is an introspective guy who thinks about his ethical role in the world. And I find it impossible to believe that he is not reconsidering his position on this, given the starkness of the double standard that he is applying without even any effort to defend it. The White House is not withdrawing her name, and why should they? Senator Manchin hasn't even tried to explain himself yet. I honestly don't know where this one ends. But Neera Tanden will get voted out of committee tomorrow, so the question's being called. Watch this space. Lots of
Okay. I love how she, in the same sentence, talks about voting for Neera Tanden and having an ethical responsibility. What? I mean, look. Let's be clear here. I'm not too particularly well versed with Joe Manchin's Senate confirmation voting record. But I mean, I agree. I agree in a sense, that if he has voted for other swamp creatures that happened, that were nominated by Trump, and then he has a problem with this swamp creature, I mean, yeah, it's something off there, right? It's not consistent to say the least. But to pretend that Neera Tanden is some kind of angel and that someone who doesn't vote for her is abdicating their ethical responsibilities as a senator, I mean, what are you smoking? If you vote for Neera Tanden, you should question your ethic and moral standing, in my opinion, right? I mean, once again, this is not a sexism issue, as many in neoliberal media are claiming. There are actual concerns with who she is as a person. Yeah, the policies that she's tried to push. Right. Once again, she completely wholeheartedly supports Hillary Clinton. I mean, she's a lapdog of Clinton's, right? And she has no problem with Israel, right? She had a little sit down with Netanyahu. She's great friends with AIPAC. She's all on board with cutting Social Security. There's a video on Twitter someone pulled up about her talking about cancer treatment being limited. I mean, it's horrendous. And, the fact that she thinks invading Arab countries and then asking them to pay the U.S. back with their oil for budgetary reasons does not sound off alarms and, set off alarms and have red flags going up for everyone is unbelievable. I mean, no one is talking about this, right? It's just her mean tweets. No. Fuck the tweets. Look at how she thinks about solving budgetary problems, about fixing the deficit. You want her to head the OMB? Her idea of solving the deficit is going to war and plundering people's oil. Have you lost your fucking mind? This is probably one of the last people on earth you should put in charge of the OMB. A fucking monkey would do a better job. A child would do a better job. Someone with no understanding would do a better job because they would not be as destructive. Do you understand? Anyone besides Neera Tanden would do a better job because you can't have someone who thinks the United States should invade Arab countries and steal their oil is a fix for the deficit and for not doing, cuts to social welfare programs. For the love of God, you should not, contemplate confirming her in any capacity. And so I just found that hilarious. All of a sudden, that's the issue. And not to mention, she punched Faiz Shakir, who later went on to be Bernie Sanders' campaign manager. She punched a coworker. She outed a victim of sexual assault in front of the whole office. I mean. These are far more egregious than just her tweets, but no one is making any mention of them, right? So, and by the way, just to play devil's advocate here, I don't know what reasons Joe Manchin has suggested, perhaps besides her tweets and unity. But if he's not brought up the things that I've just told you, and I most likely think that he did not. If he has not talked about Neera Tanden punching Faiz Shakir or outing a sexual assault victim or wanting to invade countries for oil or pushing these policies that are the antithesis of anything progressive or friendly to the working class, if he's not talking about those things, then yeah, he's full of it, of course. So I don't know what the real motivations are behind his decision not to nominate her. But anyway, we'll see what happens, especially since these committee votes have been postponed. And Bernie Sanders, I'm afraid, I'm pretty sure he's going to vote for her. I'm not sure, but, we'll see. In any case, just remember at the end of the day, this is all a clown show. Whether Neera Tanden gets a nomination or not, they will just find another swamp creature. Right? They will just find someone who is, still budding, to become a future Neera Tanden, right? Whether that is her deputy or someone else, they will put someone of their own kind, right? And they are all the same. It's one big gang. Never forget that, right? Never forget that. So there you go. I just think it's hilarious how everyone is bringing up sexism or her mean tweets, but let's not talk about her policies. Let's not talk about what she says in private about, handling the job that would, handling issues that would be relevant to the job that she's trying to be confirmed for. No, let's not talk about that. No, let's focus on the tweets. Someone is not doing their job here. I mean, you think they don't know all of this? They know all of this. Of course they do.